This is pretty spontaneous, so I wanted to get on here and chat with you guys. Yikes. Maybe, yeah, because I just got off work. I just got off work and I just got off work and I have a notebook and I wanted to maybe bring up a couple topics and hopefully this goes pretty smooth. So hello to everyone. Let's talk about I went on live. If you come in, please say hi if you want. I went on live the other day and surprisingly a bunch of people came on and they showed a lot of support and everyone's so cool. I wonder who these people are though, you know? I wonder who the people are that come in. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Isa Al Sadiq. Appreciate that. God bless you too. All the same old people from back when I did or when I was doing videos, like that comment, and I wonder who are these people, you know? Because I don't know who they are. They're pretty anonymous. But let's man, how do you just get into this? I wanted to talk about a couple things. Like I'm in the truck right now. So, and I'll keep the live to like maybe, I don't know, half an hour. Yes. I'll keep the live to like maybe half an hour and then we'll go through some topics. Is that okay with you guys? And hopefully you can join me. It's I think in Russia it's probably, I can't check the time right now in Russia. Maybe I can't. No, I can't. I'm assuming it's 12 hours ahead or behind. So I think it's around maybe 10 in the morning, but I'm assuming that a lot of people are probably working. So yeah, I guess, you know, I'll talk about a little bit about what's going on with me, but then we can just talk about, you know, life topics in general, and hopefully that's cool. Right now, in about a week, I plan on, well, I already put in my 2 weeks notice with this job, and so in a week I'll be done, and I'm gonna spend a few months in St. Louis and regroup. And then after that, I have tentative plans to do something else. Hello, Mr. Rodriguez. Why are you here? Do you like Russia? Anyway, I don't know if whether to talk to the chat too much or not, but it's weird because I think that, you know, I assume that most of the audience is Russian. So it's fun. It's interesting seeing a Rodriguez here. My last name is Perez, so my fellow Hispanic. And so the thing with me is that, yeah, I'm quitting my job here. If for anyone who doesn't know, I've been to Russia 5 times. That's why the channel name is American in Russia. And but I'm not in Russia currently. But you know, ultimately my plan is to go live in St. Petersburg. Yes, Jason, crying emoji. That's great. It's cringe, right? Yeah, I know, it's really cringe. So anyways, yeah, the plan is to go, yeah, I was just thinking, you know, like, I was just thinking, I guess about, because I'm driving the truck, you know, and, I was just thinking about, you know, living about life and what it means to like live a purposeful life, and whether it's worth to, I don't know, just to do like, you know, does anybody work a job that they don't like or that they feel like is like not really what they should be doing, but at the same time you feel like you need money, obviously, because we live in like a world where uh you need money. But you know, what about yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to go live. I feel awkward going live 'cause I don't know what to talk about, but before I get before I got on live, I had a bunch of topics in my head, and then now I don't I don't know. Oh wow, it's your birthday. And then it's weird seeing these random people on here cuz I'm like, who are these people? It's honestly throwing me off, so I apologize. And it's already 6 minutes and I feel like, you know, like I don't know. I'm trying to go live, and I'm trying to be honest, I'm just trying to feel somewhat comfortable, but it's kind of awkward for me. I mean, the channel's about Russia, and I feel like I already communicate with the audience, so they kind of know me a little bit. So to have like random people, it feels weird because it's probably gonna be like, what the hell is this about? Like, what is going on? But yeah, I guess so I drive the truck, you know. I drive a truck, okay? Like, I drive a truck, but I'm thinking, you know, and I already put in my notice, so there's like a feeling of like, it's like a dread, not, I don't know if it's like a dreadful feeling, but it's like you know, you feel like I feel like an anxious kind of like you're already checked out. I'm already checked out. I'm already planning the next thing. And you know, doing this job, when I started, it used to be, why talk about what is better in Russia than in US and what's not, your opinion about people. There are so many interesting talk. Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess I think um to get the whole what's better in US, I think it's a pretty boring topic. But we can talk about that, sure, why not? I mean, I guess, you know, it fits the subject matter of the channel. The thing about Russia versus US is that I think the obvious thing, the difference, I mean, you could talk about it for like forever, but there's no like perfect place for everyone. So it's a tough thing. It's a very personal thing to talk about. There's some things that the US is better than Russia. There's other things that Russia is better than the US. The US is changing like very, very quickly. The US is changing, and I mean, I would say in general, trending downwards. Andre, USA. Yeah, I have my own opinion, but everything that I say is my own personal opinion. You know, I love Russia. I mean, I could talk about this forever. I could honestly talk about this forever. But I think saying like, oh, making like a pros and cons, it's a pretty boring topic. But I think it's an interesting topic, but I think it's like it's personal, you know. It's personal to each person. Some people would never consider going to Russia ever. And there's a lot of obstacles to going to Russia, especially now with sanctions and stuff, but it's pretty challenging. But me personally, I love Russia. You know, but that's like a personal thing, you know. I went to Russia when I was 13 years old, like I've said before, and I didn't realize at that time, I didn't realize how much of an impact because it was my first time that I had ever been outside of the country. So when I did go to Russia for the first time when I was 13, I didn't realize how cool it was, because I had nothing to compare it to. But then later on in life, and then after I came back, you know, I was like, wow, that was great. But then later on, I really realized, like, oh wow, like that was pretty special, you know. And I went in the year 2000, so that was when that was when I went in the year 2000, which was crazy, because I'm like fascinated by Russian history as well. When for some reason, I don't know why, I'm like, but it's an interesting history. The 90s was crazy, you know, and for Russia. And then the year 2000, that's when everything was kind of shifting, and that was when Brat came out, like around that time. And Sistri with Sergei Bodrov. I don't know if you've ever seen those movies, but. And then shortly after I went to Russia, like Tattoo came out with their hit single, which was crazy. I was in high school and I was like, I know, you know, it felt so like personal to me when Tattoo came out with that song "Ya Soshla Suma" with English All the Things She Said. I mean, it's like super popular now, again on TikTok now. But it was crazy. Like everything felt surreal. Everything felt like, oh, all this is happening only for me, you know, which of course, you know, I mean, it's like metaphysical, and it was just very surreal, man. I agree with you. It's absolutely different mentality. It's different systems. Foundation are different. Societies. Yeah. Yeah, the thing about Russia versus American is, like, I can speak as an American, is that Russia might as well be like an alien culture to me personally, and we're so different. But I've learned a lot from Russia. Like, I've been to Russia 5 times, and it's not been a waste, because I've learned so much from like the Russian mentality. But at the same time, like, if I had to explain what makes a Russian, I mean, I could kind of try to explain it, but it's hard to put your finger on. It's a very kind of like, the Russian mentality and the whole Russian culture is it's a hard thing to kind of like pinpoint, but there's certain things that you can kind of say, like certain characteristics, you know. I'm glad you're back to making videos. I haven't seen anything in about a year. Mr. Snow, then I thought of you. Oh, thank you, sir. I'm glad you're here. You know, it makes me happy to see the Russian audience here. I was seeing random people, and honestly, that threw me way off. I've never done a live. It makes the live aspect of it makes me feel it's weird, because it's live, and you know, there's no editing. So, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna come across as like super boring. And then I had these topics in my head that I wanted to talk about, and hopefully it's like an interesting topic, but then my mind like goes blank and I start freaking out a little bit. What I wanted to talk about was like my job, and like feeling like I read that book, The Alchemist. Yeah, Americanans, but I'm fascinated with yeah, that's cool. Relatable. Yep. Yeah, me too. It's crazy. It's crazy, the whole thing with Russia. So it's such a weird thing. But yeah, I was thinking about the book The Alchemist, and about you know, your destiny and stuff like that. And you know, I was like, man, I will say like that, it's very hard to understand Russians in Russia. You look honest person, and I wish you the best. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. Are you Russian? Who's your favorite music artist? I don't know. I don't think I have one. You know, it's one of those things like my old Russian. All right, in Russian, you know what? Ever since since I watched Sistri, I never liked what's his name? Kino. What's the Soy, right? I never listened to his music, but based off of the soundtrack of Sistri, like that's how it's ingrained in my head. Billie Eilish, yeah, sure, she's very talented. I like Billie Eilish songs, yes, sure. Yeah, I like all kinds of music. I mean, you know, the cliche answer, obviously, Shaman. What's Shaman? Oh yeah, Shaman. I know a Shaman song. Yeah, I know about that. Yeah, I'm in a truck again, you know. I had a plan to come back. Man, this might be oversharing, but yeah, I had to come back to stay in a truck for a long, long, long time. But then I was in the truck for so long, and honestly, I got to a point where I was like, man, I hate this so much. So I had to, I don't know. I got to a point where I'm like, I'm a very like a feeler person. I'm a very intuitive person. So like there comes a point where like I get like a feeling, and like it becomes psychosomatic. So I start developing these physical symptoms, and I have to like stop, and I have to check. I don't know. I gotta like pray and check in with God or something, and see what He wants me to do, because it gets to a point where I try to think of ideas on my own, and then it's just like, bro, can you just stop? And I need to check in with God and see what He wants me to do, man, cause yeah, I know it sounds stupid, but that's what I wanted to talk about, is like, what do you think about working jobs where it's just like there's a point where I just can't anymore. I physically can't anymore, and I have to do some, I have to check in and reevaluate what I'm doing. And I need help. I need like, I need God's help. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I could always hop in a truck and drive around, but yeah, I'm in a country. I don't listen to country music, but yeah, like the country's good. Country's fine. Country's fine. I don't listen to country music, but country music is cool. Like the whole country aesthetic is. I'm not a country guy. I guess a city guy, but half Russian, half Lithuanian, and I will say I have U.S. mentality too from my own experience. U.S. society, interesting too. Yeah, it's so funny because I was thinking about that too. I'm in the U.S., Tony. I was thinking about, like, it's so funny how like there's an intersection of people that think the U.S. is interesting, and then I'm here in the U.S. and I think the opposite, and I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Everyone can have their opinion, and everyone is on their own journey. And in my opinion, everyone is living in their own reality. So whatever you think is okay. I don't think that I don't believe personally that one person can love something else and they could be completely opposite and they could both be right, in my opinion. Of course, you know, that's my opinion, because in the world, then you're gonna have like, if this makes sense, like you have arguments, like you have like, no, like you're right and I'm right, you're right and I'm wrong, or you're wrong and I'm right. But it's, to me, it's like some people want to come for whatever reason. In my opinion, the US, I mean, it's like, it's just changed so much, and it's just, I don't know if it's maybe because I'm in the truck, or there's no denying that the US has changed so much. Yeah, I always like to, I always have, I want to say, it's just my opinion. That's all you can say. I'm not going to force my opinion on people, but